Hi everyone, my name is Jack, and today we are looking at another horrific case. In Your Presence. Jennifer Dulos, a carefree mother, was never seen again on May 24, 2019, along with her 5 children. The family is a part of it. An even more shocking discovery was made during a thorough investigation by the police in response to this horrifying event. The more unexpected revelation is the truth. The disappearance of Jennifer Dulos was caused by someone who had been around for a while, the focal point of her existence. On September 27, 1968, Hillard Farber gave birth to Jennifer Dulos in New York City. Gloris Ortenberg, a philanthropist and banker. Jennifer's sibling, Melissa Irene Farber, was the only one. Brown University was where she received her education. In 1990, she completed her studies. At New York University Tisch School of Arts, she completed a master's degree in writing. Arthur Ortenberg and his wife, who were inspired by Jennifer, established a fashion company called Clairbone. The answer is yes, in fact. Fotis Dulos and Jennifer Dulos exchanged vows in 2004. They had 5 children, which included a girl and 2 sets of twins. All of them were named after Greek saints, namely Theodore Dulos, Constantine Dorothea, Petros Dularus, and others. Christian Dulos and Cleopatra Noel Dulis as a pair. Jennifer and Fotis Dulos were married for a period of 13 years after being together. Make a mark for 2017 with your music. The man Jennifer once loved had become a source of fear for her. What is the identity of Fotis Dulos and what modifications have been made to him? On August 6, 1967, Dulos was born in Turkey and spent his childhood in Athens, Greece. Fotis shifted to the United States in 1986. He completed his studies at Brown University in 1989. After a few years, Fotis completed his finance master's degree at Columbia Business School. During their time at Brown University, Fotis encountered his first wife, Hilary Vanessa Aldama. The 2 individuals had been allies at the same educational establishment. He exchanged vows with her in Athens in 2000. Following the breakdown of their marriage in 2004, Fotis relocated to Connecticut. In September 2004, Dulos and Jennifer got married, a month after his divorce. He had been in a relationship with Jennifer while his wife, Vanessa Aldama, was still married. They relocated to Farmington after getting married. Jennifer Dulos, their 5 children together, was devoted to her life. The police became suspicious of her disappearance due to that reason. Jennifer would never intentionally leave her children behind. Jennifer had filed for divorce and was fighting for the last time before she went missing. The responsibility of taking care of her offspring. Fotis had become so distressed that she was terrified of her and her children's future, lives up to their potential. The year 2017 marked a low point for the Dulos marriage. On March 12th, Jennifer Dulos shared her marital problems in a blog post. The year 2012 is. She expressed her desire to be a stronger individual and that confrontations did not occur, as she had stated before. Scared and groped her. Fotis Dulos was alleged to be becoming increasingly involved in Jennifer Dulos' affairs, which led to her filing for divorce in 2017. Being a self-reliant individual and betraying his colleague Michelle Traconis, a Venezuelan national. In 2017, Jennifer Dulos sought emergency custody of her 5 children. Her request was denied, but she and Fotis Dulos were granted joint custody. Jennifer Dulos was frightened for her life, but it was more than just fear for the safety of her family. Minors. Fotis Dulos was accused by her of being irrational, dangerous, bullying, threatening, and misguided. Conduct that is characterized by dominating behavior. She recounted one of the bleak encounters she had had with Fotis. On June 3, 2017, he was informed that she had organized events for their children. On a Saturday morning, the situation was unmanageable for Fotis, causing him to lose his footing. He had become angry and agitated, as Jennifer stated. Fearing for her safety, she hurried upstairs. Even after she locked the door and bolted it down, Fotis still followed her ascent. Despite being trapped inside, she was subjected to constant verbal abuse and physical attacks from him. Jennifer Dulos was aware that she and her husband were not in good standing. She had prompted disturbances during her divorce proceedings. During an interview, she revealed her fear of Fotis. She owned up to the fact that her desire for a divorce had upset him, and he was going to get revenge by inflicting harm upon her. Fotis was accused by Jennifer Dulos of making threats during her divorce filing in May 2017 to abduct and mistreat their offspring if she did not agree to his divorce settlement. He had acquired a firearm in that particular year. In 2018, Jennifer requested emergency sole custody of her children once again. Fotis was found to have disobeyed several court orders during the hearing process. Both Jennifer and her spouse had legal custody of their children, with Jennifer being granted full physical custody. The custody of the offspring, supervised visits and monitored phone calls to Fotis. Jennifer and the children transferred to her rental house in New Canaan, which is 70 miles away from Fotis Dulos. The accusation made by Jennifer had caused Fotis Dulos genuine pain. In a 2017 email to Jennifer, he conveyed his concern for the well-being of his children, the state of being. He acknowledged that their children needed both parents. He had appealed to Jennifer to reconsider their marriage for the sake of their children. He suggested that they could function as partners and learn to accept each other. Despite the accusation leveled against him by Jennifer, Fotis maintained that she was not guilty. Jennifer was the one who turned their children against him. He claimed that the mother of his children called him a psychopath and informed them about their behavior. He was indifferent towards them. He also asserted that Jennifer had bragged about dragging the divorce process for an extended period of time. It took her 2 years to have the mafia break his legs with a baseball bat. Fotis Dulos refuted allegations of threatening to abduct his children. He acknowledged that he had purchased a firearm, but it was solely for his home defense. If the next event had occurred, Fotis Dulos' arguments could have been considered or even believed. It didn't come to fruition. Jennifer Dulos' disappearance was reported on May 24, 2019, at approximately 8:05 a.m. She had left her children at New Canaan County School and returned home that day, a short while later. Her disappearance prompted some of her worried friends to contact the police. Jennifer's doctor appointment dates were set for 2 days at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. in New York City. Jennifer's friends became concerned that she had a problem after she made sure to see her doctor every day, not attended the event. The peculiarity of it was noticed by more than just her Dulos' friends. The vanishing of Jennifer. Lauren Almeida, the resident nurse, was concerned upon arriving at Jennifer's new home. At 11:30 a.m., she arrived at the Canaan apartment and was greeted by her Range Rover in the garage. She remembered that Jennifer had intended to bring the car to her doctor's appointment. Her Chevrolet Suburban was nowhere to be found in the garage. Jennifer's disappearance was not reported to the police by Lauren Almeida until 7 p.m. It was evident that there was a sense of uncertainty about Jennifer's absence at the time. Neither did she arrive home late or leave the house on her own without anyone being aware of it. The reports were deemed alarming, prompting the police to initiate an investigation. A search of Jennifer's New Canaan home was conducted by detectives. Nevertheless, they would be devastating to all those who had affection for Jennifer Dulos. Bloodstains were discovered on the floor of the garage. One of the walls in the garage and its door was found to have blood on it. Blood was also present on the exterior of the Range Rover. Only the kitchen area contained blood splatters inside the house, which Jennifer did not recognize. Blood is the only substance in it. The blood of Fotis Dulos was a blend of hers and her spouse. The occurrence raised eyebrows regarding Fotis Dulos' murder of his wife. Fotis Dulos was discovered by the police to have been present at Jennifer Dulos' residence, according to other investigations. The day she disappeared, the apartment was occupied. Fotis was said to have arrived at Jennifer's home with a bike as the tracks were scattered, according to the police. The areas surrounding the house were too small to be taken by car. Despite this, Fotis was waiting for his wife to arrive after she had returned from dropping off her children at home. The school is the place where. Following that, he used his gun to shoot her in the back seat, cleaned up the area, and eliminated the evidence. The Chevrolet Suburban was caught on CCTV by Jennifer's neighbors at approximately 10:25 a.m., causing her to be abandoned. The house of Fotis Dulos was believed by the police to have been driving the vehicle. The police asserted that he had concealed the body of Jennifer Dulos and other items that were within his reasonable suspicion. To the sanitizing of the murder scene in the car. Fotis Dulos had hidden Jennifer's body and then left the car 3 miles away. A fresh species of canine. Fotis's suspicious behavior led the police to believe he was a cold-blooded murderer. Later that day, Fotis Dulos and his girlfriend Michelle Traconis were caught on camera around 7:30 p.m. The act of dumping garbage in trash bins is done through tape. The use of 30 trash bins in various locations may have made the situation seem relatively normal. Places situated on Alford Avenue in Hartford. During their search of the bins, law enforcement officials discovered various incriminating objects. The garbage bags were found to contain various cleaning products and blood-stained fragments, according to the police. Garments and hand sanitizer gloves were employed. The police's fear was confirmed after a test carried out on the items. The blood samples matched that of Jennifer Dulos, and DNA from Fotis was found in one of the gloves. One of the trash bins was where it was placed. Fotis Dulos's girlfriend was more shocking than him when he killed his wife in cold blood, as the latter did not receive the same level of shock. Traconis, who was involved in the offense. Michelle Traconis, who comes from Venezuela, was a diverse individual. Among her other professions were being a mother, ridden horses, and having previously worked as an ESPN reporter in South America. Despite everything, it's unlikely anyone expected her to be anything other than a cold-blooded criminal. Fotis Dulos and Michelle Traconis began a romantic relationship while they were still married. His marriage was ruined by his affair with Fotis. Traconis was questioned by the police following Jennifer's disappearance. When questioned about Jennifer's whereabouts, she replied that she had been doing something when asked. That afternoon I had lunch with Fotis Dulos. Furthermore, it was alleged that she and Dulos had visited one of his houses to tidy up the place, preparing for a client meeting. The police suspected that they had been removing Jennifer Dulos's remains. The police investigation led to the discovery of additional videotapes depicting Michelle Traconis in a more intimate manner, a situation that requires compromise. They were able to uncover the exact cause of Fotis Dulos's horrific act through the use of the tapes. Take action. Fotis Dulos had a clear understanding of his actions, and the police did not believe he had done so intentionally. Handed off alone. The Tacoma truck, owned by Fotis's employee, was driven by him without his authorization on May 24, 2019, to New Canaan, Connecticut. A Tacoma truck was caught on camera speeding on the highway at 7:05 a.m., with a school bus recording the incident. Heading towards Wavani Park in New Canaan, where Jennifer's Chevrolet Suburban will be waiting. Later on, it will be discovered. According to law enforcement officials, a bicycle tire was discovered in the truck's trunk. The police's suspicion that Fotis Dulos had cycled the 3 miles from the location was validated by this. From Wavani Park, one can reach Jennifer's apartment in New Canaan. Fotis was thought to have arrived earlier than Jennifer, as per the police. As soon as she returned, he had attacked her in the garage. Subsequently, he had cleared the evidence and transported Jennifer to her suburban car. He was taken to Wavani Park and placed her body in the Tacoma truck. Fotis had left behind 2 enormous chunks of material, just as he meticulously tried to hide his actions. Signs that he was present in the New Canaan dwelling. A sample of his DNA and a blend of Jennifer's and hers were found on the doorknob, which had been left by him. The kitchen sink faucet is on. Fotis was accused by the police of cleaning the house for hours, which led to a neighbor's surveillance. A video was captured of Jennifer leaving the house in her Chevrolet Suburban around 11 o'clock. Fotis Dulos was considered a cold-blooded murderer by the police, who were more certain than others. 5 days after his wife went missing, he made another shocking decision. The Tacoma truck was taken out by Fotis Dulos without his consent. Fotis was as guilty as they come, and his destination was where he ended up. He had taken the truck directly to a car wash and detail store located nearby. The surveillance footage of the truck revealed a black SUV driving right behind him. The SUV was driven by Michelle Traconis. Video. Fotis drops off the car wash. Subsequently, he had been riding in her SUV alongside truckloads. According to the police, the couple's aim was to eliminate all components of the car. Anecdotal evidence. Nevertheless, they were not so fortunate in their quest. The passenger seat of the car was found to have samples of Jennifer's DNA. Despite the overwhelming evidence against Fotis Dulos, it was not unexpected that he became more troubled. The primary suspect in Jennifer Dulos' disappearance. Capital murder. Murder charges were brought against Fotis Dulos on June 7, 2020. The act of abduction. The murder and kidnapping of Jennifer Dulos were carried out by Fotis Dulos, who was not taken into custody. The time frame is set for June 2020. Fotis was arrested earlier than you thought, and he certainly wasn't, not facing any charges for murder. Fotis Dulos and Michelle Trucanis were apprehended on June 1, 2019 at a hotel in Avon, Connecticut. They were accused of obstructing prosecution and manipulating evidence. The police had insufficient evidence against the couple when they were apprehended. Both individuals entered a plea of not guilty. Norm Pattis is the lawyer representing Fotis Dulos. Pattis was convinced that Jennifer Dulos had died. Fotis and Trucanis were released. They were taken into custody in September 2019 for obstructing evidence and tampering with it. A just and equitable system. In spite of that, Fotis made an appearance in court in October 2019. He urged for the allegations to be dropped. The judge announced that he would investigate the case and evaluate arguments regarding the persecution. Defense: Jennifer and Fotis Dulos were residing with their maternal grandmother during this time. The children were between the ages of 8 and 13. The court granted temporary custody of the children to their grandmother. The arrival of Dulos at Waterloo was in 2020. He was taken into custody in January and charged with the death of his ex-wife, while simultaneously defending himself. The girlfriend of Michelle Trucanis was arrested for plotting to kill. Fotis and Michelle Trucanis became estranged after the arrest. She confessed in an interview that she had made a grave error in trusting Fotis. It was alleged that Trucanis had left the Fotis Farmington residence before his arrest in 2020, a $5 million home for her daughter. Kent Douglas Moyney, who used to be a friend and lawyer of Fotis Dulos, was also apprehended, accused of conspiring to commit the murder. Moyney was apprehended by a gunman. Fotis and Trucanis were believed to have been aided by him in creating an alibi on the morning of September 9th, according to the police. The disappearance of Jennifer. Additionally, Douglas Moyney had been accused of spousal rape by his wife at that time. After being arrested in the early hours of Saturday, Moyney's relationship with his wife soured. Involvement with the homicide of Jennifer Dulos. His wife was of the opinion that she was at risk of losing her life. His wife informed the South Windsor Police Department that her husband was plotting to kill her with a knife. The assistance was provided by Fotis Dulos, his friend. The police discovered that Douglas Moyney was a resident of an East London residential area during their investigation. The Granby Gun Club. A human burial site was reportedly spotted by a group of local hunters who had reported it to the police, involved in the club's operations. The police proceeded with a search of the property in question and discovered something that was very unusual, doubtful. A shallow grave was discovered on the secluded estate. 2 bags of lime and a blue tarp were discovered by the police in the grave. The police did not find any body in the grave, but they suspected it could have been a corpse, eliminated. In August 2019, a dog was brought to the gravesite. Jennifer's body was not discovered despite the arrests, which was unfortunate. Her family was heartbroken by the fact that their daughter was about to receive justice. The family's representative acknowledged in an interview that the detention of the suspects did not result in any positive outcomes, any feeling of closure that they may have. He acknowledged that the death of Jennifer's killer could not bring her back, so the judge ordered a new trial. The wretchedness in their hearts could not be undone. The $6 million bond for Fotis Dulos was set to be disclosed on January 8, 2020. He was bailed out the next day but had to come back to court on February 8, 2020. Michelle Trucanis was released on bail and Douglas Moyney's bond was set, with a budget of $2 million. In spite of this, it was lowered to more than $200,000. On October 19, 2020, he was granted bail. Dulos's fear that Fotis had been caught up in his brutal actions resulted in an unfortunate incident. Fotis did not attend an emergency hearing on January 28, 2020. He was ordered by the judge to appear in court. Fotis' car was found unresponsive when the police arrived at his Farmington residence. It appears that Fotis was unable to face the repercussions of his actions and attempted to take his own life. The essence of life. Fotis had ingested carbon monoxide into his system. He had a vacuum cleaner fitted into the exhaust of his SUV and put it back in the van, the interior of his automobile. After administering CPR and restoring a faint pulse, the police had come to his aid. Yukon Medical Center was where he was taken by ambulance. The center shifted him to Jacobi Medical Center in the Bronx for hyperbaric surgery, oxygen therapy. Fotis' children, who were still living with their grandmother, were in the hospital, visited their father. Their father was spotted for the first time since he was charged with Jennifer's murder. A suicide note was discovered by the police in Fotis' car. His written words conveyed that he was not prepared to spend an hour in jail for something besides his knowledge, inquiring about. The Jacobi Medical Center announced that Fotis' death occurred on January 30, 2020. Anna Curry, Fotis' former girlfriend, was identified in the police report released after her death. She asserted that she had been present with him on the day of his emergency hearing. She informed the police that she and Fotis had plans to drive to the court together. Fotis conveyed to her that he would rather they separate from each other. Upon receiving a call from Fotis' attorney, Curry expressed her fear and expression. The reason for Fotis' absence from the court. At the time, she was driving and informed him that Fotis should be in his car. According to the lawyer, Fotis' GPS tracker indicated that he was still in his underwear, the Farmington abode. Fotis' self-harm was confirmed by Curry right away, prompting her to seek legal assistance. It is recommended that the attorney contact 911 for legal assistance. Fotis Dulos' death resulted in the dismissal of charges for murder. A judge granted a nolle prosequi request on March 3, 2020 for the prosecution. Fotis Dulos was not convicted, but the case could not be pursued further. He was no longer alive. Nolle prosequi is a recognition of that. Nevertheless, it grants the prosecutor a year to bring the case back on record, or it is permanently indefinite, ignored. The lawyer representing Fotis Dulos stated during the hearing that he is eager to prove his client's claim. It is referred to by the given name. Folis was thought to have been framed by Norm Pattis. He maintained that the person who framed the Folis had abandoned the bloody clothes and other evidence. The police discovered items in the vicinity of Folis' front entrance. The intention of Folis was to dispose of them without any guilt. Consequently, the police had discovered surveillance footage. The estate of Fotis Dulos was requested to be substituted by Pattis as the defendant. Pattis's request has not been heard since. After being accused of conspiring to commit the heinous crime, Michelle Troconis was placed under house arrest. Killed Jennifer Dulos. The COVID pandemic had not resulted in any significant progress on her case. The case was put on hold. John Cianhone, the lawyer representing Troconis, had admitted in an interview that there was not a problem. The progress on Michelle Troconis' case has been sluggish. Nevertheless, she was supposed to be present in court on August 6, 2020, while Douglas Moyney was out of the country, to be announced on June 2, 2020. The two individuals maintained their innocence by pleading not guilty. In an interview, Michelle Troconis spoke to all those who had reached a consensus to make judgments about her without any personal experience. She acknowledged that it was not impossible to make incorrect judgments. She was not authorized to determine if Fotis Dulos had the potential to carry out the killing, his better half. She was able to make up for the lack of trust in Fotis' team and conclude that it had been a waste of time, and rightfully so. Despite the passage of 4 years, Jennifer Dulos had not been found. The police have scourged several locations in search of her body over the years. Waveney Park, located 3 miles from New York City, was the starting point of the police search in 2019. Canaan. They had utilized canines and helicopters to conduct a thorough search of the area. The search was widened to New York City after the outcome proved unfavorable. There was a property owned by the Dulos family. Prior to their arrival at Central, the police had conducted a thorough search of the property. Connecticut. The police did not give up on their mission to locate Jennifer as they continued their search. Hartford, Connecticut. Their search resulted in the discovery of surveillance tapes showing Fotis Dulos dumping trash. Throughout the city, bags are scattered throughout different garbage cans. The police were directed to the city's garbage processing plant. The search lasted for weeks, but the police found a lot of valuable information. The exploration persisted to a particular fishing lake in Avon that the Dulos family visited. The police proceeded to Central Connecticut and conducted a search of homes belonging to the local population. Missing Spouse runs for Inc., a company. The estimated size of the area covered is roughly 3,000 acres. Despite the efforts, Jennifer Dulos was not found. During August of 2021, they came across a Farmington residence on Mountain Spring Road, which was part of the search, the partner of Jennifer Dulos. The police had opted to search the house to locate old suspects. Bob Perry, a well-known expert in unmarked graveyards, was invited by the organization, the police department. Moreover, the police provided an excavator and a septic tank to ensure optimal operation. The police have not provided any information about the location of Jennifer Dulos's remains, the physical structure. Despite the horror of Jennifer Dulos's story, something good happened. The Connecticut State Senate approved a domestic violence bill in May 2021. The bill was named after Jennifer Dulos and another woman who suffered in domestic violence, Jennifer Magnano, who is known for her violence. The bill was backed by nearly all Senate members without any opposition. Governor Ned Lamont signed the bill into law on June 28, 2021. Another woman, Jennifer Magnano, who was also known as Jennifer the Law, was subjected to a very harsh reality-based threat, a toxic relationship. Scott Magnano, the husband of a woman, committed the cold-blooded murder of her in Terraville in 2007, Connecticut. Shortly after the horrific act, Scott Magnano took his own life in front of their loved ones. The number of children is 3. Jennifer Dulos's family has been left devastated by her passing. The family spokesman conveyed in an interview that they were deeply missed by Jennifer. He stated that Jennifer's wonderful personality and bright disposition convinced even those who had never met her, became personally impacted by her disappearance.